That's good because yeah.
Hi everybody.
Gotta get out of our system.
Christ, it is on the stick. Technically after dark, I guess, but this is part 1 of our annual Christmas Game Exchange.
This year, it's really gonna drag on.
It's still. I bet it's still not funny to the people watching this, even though they haven't already heard the joke like 4 times tonight.
Well, we're strapped for good material.
Yeah. Anyways, this is Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, which I gifted to Anthony.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome. I'm going to be playing it now because Anthony's not set up to do the stream, so...
True.
We don't have them fancy capture cards like you do.
No, it's true. And actually, I'm going to be playing late, so you can see here that my game is 3.5 hours in, and I'm pretty... I mean, I'm basically at the end of the game. So I'm not going to, like, go to the end of the game right away. I'm going to kind of walk around and do some stuff and just kind of, you know, just so you can see... Get a sense of what
I can just see the menu so far, but it's got that pig with the eye patch, which is the best part.
I love the pig with the eye patch, really.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So, Anthony, what did you... Well, so I guess a little background on this game before we get super into it.
Yeah, that'd be good, because I don't know anything about this series, other than I've known Wonder Boy has existed and I never played one.
Right, so it's really confusing.
True.
It started as... Adventure Island, right? So, what happened?
Oh, maybe I have played one of these then.
If you've played Adventure Island, you've technically played one of these.
Great.
So, Adventure Island was made by some folks called Westone, and they made Adventure Island for Hudson, and they made Wonder Boy for Sega, but they were the same game. Like, Wonder Boy 1 and Adventure Island 1 are literally identical games. And they both spun off, like, totally separate series from there. So, then we got, like, Wonder Boy and Monster World, which was a Sega and Westone sort of co-production in the arcade, and then on the Sega Master System. And this is Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap.
The Dragon's Trap.
The Dragon's Trap.
Joe's got a bit of an accent, so he doesn't say things properly, but yeah, the Dragon's Trap.
This is about it. This is a dragon wrestling game, and
they're all trying to win the strap.
Fight dragons, and you're trying to win the championship belt, which they call the Dragon's Trap.
Right.
It also has a big rubber dick on it.
So it's the Dragon's Strap on, is what you're saying. So, yeah, this game was originally released for
that bird looks really mad that he can't fit in that hole.
That's what the... No, never mind.
Yeah,
so,
I wouldn't...
This game was originally released for the Sega Master System, and it's sort of one of those... I mean, they're called Metroidvanias because a lot of people sort of give credit to Metroid as being the first one, but this game was released around the same time as the original Metroid, and is very much structured in that way. So, yeah, you are...
So it is a get the item, go new places kind of game?
Yes, absolutely.
Sort of.
Well, yeah, less get the item, more get the new animal buddy form. So what happens at the beginning is Wonder Boy gets turned into a lizard by a dragon. That's the Dragon's Trap. Is you defeat the dragon, who's the final boss from the previous game in the series, and he curses you. This game was also released on the TurboGrafx without the Wonder Boy branding, called just The Dragon's Curse. And is slightly
It's like
different.
Symphony of the Night. You start by beating the boss of the last game.
Right, and he curses you, and you become
I'd curse him too.
You become the shitty dragon.
You become the shitty dragon. That's the trap. Is you
Not the savage dragon.
Version of a dragon.
Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah, you're. Yeah. I mean, you can't breathe fire.
And if you want to see what the game looks like in its original form, it looks like this. So you can change the graphics just by hitting L or R at any point.
Yeah, one of the shoulder buttons changes the graphics, and the other one changes the music to the chip tunes.
Yeah.
I will say this remaster looks real good.
Yeah,
It looks really nice.
I don't like playing it with the original graphics. If you switch back and forth enough, you can eventually get it to stick if you want half the screen to be Master System and half to be the new graphics. But as you can see, like, the way that the characters have no idle animation, and just the hand-drawn nature of this is
So I'm glad you're playing this part, because this is the part of the game that made me hate this game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I got over it, but this man, I hated those skeleton fuckers.
Yeah, they're bastards. So I'm
like
the original time you go through this part where I'm at, you can't change. By this point, you can't change animal forms at will, like you're seeing.
You're just stuck as Mouse Man.
Stuck as Mouse Man, who doesn't have a lot of reach, but can walk up these checkerboard walls.
His jump makes the best sound.
Yeah.
It's a little like twing, like a piece of twine being twanged, plucked. Yeah, let's go with that.
That's actually where the word twine comes from.
Twang, yeah.
Past tense of twang.
Anyways, this part was super frustrating, especially because those skeletons like sometimes jump, but there's no warning or rhyme or reason to like when. Like it's not like, you know, a sprite will start to do an animation. You're like, okay, this move is coming out, or he does it always like after 10 steps, whatever. He just fucking jumps when he feels like it. So every time you try to like avoid him and jump over him, he crashes into you. I didn't like this part.
Yeah. So
it gets better.
It gets better, yeah. And I've had some frustration at the beginning. So I had played the game, but until I got this version, I had not sunk a considerable amount of time into it, which you saw my save before I started. I had about 3.5 hours in. That's gameplay time though, and I think that resets when you die. I don't think it tracks every death. I think it tracks like when you reload after you die. It goes from where you last saved, basically. So I have like more than 3.5 hours in. I'm pretty sure, but
I was gonna say, because I've played this for close to 4, and you look like you're a little bit further than I am.
Yeah, I have one more boss before the last boss, I believe, is where I'm at right now. So.
Oh, so that's fairly short then.
Yeah, it's really not very long at all. So, but it's, I mean, for there's a lot to explore and a lot to check out and a lot to do, and I think it's worth the price of admission. I paid a little more for it than what I paid for Anthony's copy because I have a physical copy that, you know, came with an actual instruction manual and a keychain and you know, all that good shit. But Anthony got the digital version, so you know. But yeah, it's, I don't know. So what did you think of it, Anthony? Now that you've spent some time with it.
My sort of or my sort of vague impression of Wonder Boy was that it's kind of a B-tier platformer, and I would say that this kind of confirmed that.
Okay.
Like I think the graphics are amazing, and I think the like town music is super good. Like I've been humming that for 2 weeks solid. But like, I don't know, there's just like lots of little slight like quality of life things that just I found frustrating, like some of the anime movements, or I mean, you start all the way back at the beginning when you die, and also like I feel like starting late in the game gives a better impression of the Metroidvania, because for until you get the bird guy, you can't switch between your forms. So it's not like Metroid where you've unlocked a new power and you can use that plus all your old powers. So you'll go through parts of the level and you're like, great, now I can go to this new part because I can be this guy instead. But, oh, look, there's the block that Mouse Man can use, but I'm not Mouse Man. And the only way to change is to go all the way back to this. Like, there's a couple spots in the game where you can change between them. And so, like, it causes a considerable amount of backtracking, especially since later in the game they give you the ability to switch. But it was just like, I don't know. That was super annoying because it's like the best part about a Metroidvania is like locked behind a lot of backtracking, even more so than normal for that genre.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
like,
It feels like an early Metroidvania for sure.
Yes, right. And it makes more sense to me that this is an older game that's got this new graphical layer on it. I didn't realize that. I thought they had. I assumed that they had made
There's a couple
the
of minor quality of life things that they actually did improve in this version. Like getting the sword that lets you transform at will is easier, I want to say, in this version than in the actual original Master System.
Okay. It also, I had assumed that this was a new one, and they had like
No, the new
made
there is a
the
new
2D
one
graphics also.
that just came out. Like just came out, called Monster Boy and the something Kingdom.
So is that made by the studio that up?
Is it, sorry?
Is it made by the studio that?
Is it made by the studio that did the remake of this? No, it was made by I don't remember who made it, but Lizard Cube is the ones who did
Very
this
slow.
remake, and they're the ones who are actually doing Streets of Rage 4. If that's what Lizard Cube is working on right now. So,
Good name, by the way.
Lizard Cube.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, it was good for my like video game education to finally play one of these. And I think, like I said, like I'm super impressed with the graphics. Just every new area I went to, I wanted to stop and just look at it.
Yeah.
Until like a fucking like blue genie appears and like fucks me over.
And again, like going back, just like look at the old graphical style here. And I mean, it's good looking for a Master System game, and it's cool that they made a widescreen. But like going back, and
Yeah.
forth, especially in an area like this castle, like the background is bricks and columns. In
Right.
The old version and the new version,
There's just so much
going on.
detail packed in there. But yeah, it does. It's funny, like, I guess it's a mindset thing, because I felt like it was a little rough around the edges, and knowing that it was a Master System game makes a lot of sense. And I probably would have discounted that slightly more. But
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wasn't sad I played it, for sure.
So
That's
did you
strong praise.
did you use have to turn to like an FAQ at any point, or did you were able to sort of muddle through?
Once when I think when I got the fish man, merman, I think, because it wasn't like when you get his power, you have to go back to a previous area and go to like a door underwater or something that you couldn't reach before, and I'd forgotten.
That was
I'd basically forgotten that I'd seen that.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, it kind of made sense. Like, there's this direction you just couldn't go before. Also, that the way that Lion Man like drags his sword is pretty dope.
Yeah, I have not played this version of this game, but I played it via an emulator like a long time ago. And I actually feel like this holds up somewhat better than Metroid or Fazanadu.
I actually think that
Well, the
original
original
Metroid
Metroid
is really hard to go back to.
Yeah,
That's a low bar to clear.
At least this game, like the level design's a little bit more compact. Like in the original Metroid, there's just like the levels are huge and sprawling. It just takes a really, really long time to get from place to place. Where in this game, it's a little bit tighter, a little bit smaller. But I think all of the pre-16-bit era.
But I think the
Metroidvania games are a little bit tough to return.
But this is the third one, so what's the third Metroid game, and how does it compare to that?
That's not really fair though, because the first Wonder Boy is like.
This is an NES era game.
Yeah,
so.
the first Wonder Boy is not a Metroidvania, and the second one isn't really.
I mean, I'm just kidding because that's one of the best games ever. But no, it's I don't know. Like I said, I'm more impressed knowing it was a Master System game.
Yeah, I'm really curious about the new one because
yeah, I've been hearing good things.
Similar aesthetic and like the idea of not just finding power-ups but actually changing into different monsters seems like a good time. Little Nemo the Dream Master did that really effectively. That was kind of interesting game.
It like
in some of these because the level design's a little tighter, but it doesn't have like the interconnected nature of this, and so
the thing that really reminds you like of
there's potential here, but it probably is kind of a tough thing to.
I feel like if the different like you had this hub in the middle here, and then each area you could get to with each power like was just designed for that power. That might have been better. So like I said, some of the frustration was having to go back and forth like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Plus, I know I skipped some of the secrets because I was like, there's no way I'm going back again.
Yeah, the couple of things that really give it away as an older game, I think, are one, it kicks you back to the starting area when you die.
Yep.
There are no checkpoints.
Yeah, instead of having checkpoints.
Which is weird that they didn't try to address that in this version, you know?
Right.
And two, all the areas are like they're like spokes off of the main hub area, and then they kind of just go in a straight line. You know what I mean? For the most part, it's like go this way. Okay, you can go this way now. Now go this way and literally like walk directly left for several screens. You know, and then okay, you did that. Now go to this new area and walk right for several screens until you get to a boss.
Right.
Maybe you'll go into a pyramid and sort of zigzag back and forth. But the level designs are like not spectacular for the most part in this game. It's really more the exploration of like what's next, what's the next animal form, where am I gonna find another like neat thing, and less like in Hollow Knight and like Symphony of the Night, there's a lot of like exploring for its own pleasure because it's just cool to see the new areas and traverse. And like in this game, it's more about like what will I find there than like what is the area going to be like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, those are some of the things that really. Oh, and having to go to the menu to switch weapons, which Symphony of the Night, I guess, still.
Yep.
There's enough buttons on this controller that I don't really feel like I should have to like go to a pause menu to change my sword. Or that like they could have changed it so that like, okay, well now you got this thing, and rather than having a separate sword that changes you between animal forms, like just give you a power where there's like a button combination that will let you do that now. You know what I mean?
Like, but also like a couple of the swords give you additional little like fun additional powers, and I was kind of. But then most of them don't.
Right, most of them just give you like more strength when used with a certain form. Right, so the sword I'm using
and
now
then there
is
was,
the strongest with the lion.
I remember the other.
But if the Hawkman uses it, it's not as strong. Like his most powerful sword is a different sword that's not as powerful when when
I remember the other thing was there's at some point you get like an amulet that lets you break different kinds of blocks.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't tell you what it does.
Right.
And so like you get this thing and then you're just like in this room and you can go in 2 doors. So I just like left and I like went back and forth in a circle like 3 times before finally I accidentally hit these blocks that had been previously like unbreakable.
Yeah.
And was just like, oh, I see. I guess that's what that thing did. But like unlike the rest of
the gameplay.
Yeah.
But it was like the rest of the game, like, here's a new weapon or here's a new power and that will let you do this. And instead they decide to let everybody do it, but they don't tell you that. So it was just like, yeah,
that's
but
again,
like
it's there's parts of it
right
that
here
are.
in
you know, it's an old game, and that sort of still shows, despite the gorgeous new coat of paint that is on it, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, and like I said, this village tune, pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah. So the only form that I don't have right now is the Wonder Boy. I can't turn back into Wonder Boy yet. Which is the last
I assumed
one
that
you
was
get.
the last form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So why'd you pick this game?
Because it's an older, newer thing, and I really enjoyed it. Like when I got it earlier this year, like I think I got this shortly after I finished Mario Odyssey. Like this was one of my earlier Switch purchases, and I just had a lot of fun with it, and sort of realizing that, you know, even though it's kind of dated, it's still a lot of fun, and it's a good look into what the sort of Metroidvania style was before the sort of canonized, you know, Metroid.
The two big ones, basically.
Yeah, and I know that you liked Hollow Knight quite a bit, if I'm not mistaken, Anthony.
I sure did.
Yeah, so I also just, when we picked who we were exchanging with and what we were giving and stuff, was around the time that I put Hollow Knight to bed. So I was just kind of like, okay.
Had that on the brain.
Yeah.
I also feel like...
Also, my Streets of Rage 4 hype is, like, extremely real at this point.
I also feel like this is a good game for this kind of exchange, because I probably wouldn't have picked it up on my own.
Yeah, that's another... I always try to give people games that I don't think that they would be as likely to...
Yeah, exactly.
By themselves.
Like if I got you Mario Odyssey, that would be not a great exchange, because you were going to get it anyways. But I have to say though, that lion guy is pretty cathartic when, like, especially after being the stupid mouse guy.
Yeah, it's when suddenly you can kill almost anything
hits.
in like one shot.
Yeah, you just walk up and slap him, and also because of the arc, like basically like your entire front half is covered.
Yeah. Yep. And Mouse Man is like, it's like a little stab directly in front of you.
Yeah.
So.
Like half the time you're gonna crash into the guy when you're trying to hit him. But like I said, Mouse Man's little jump sound effect is pretty good.
Yeah.
The sound is really good in this game, I guess.
Playing.
Yeah, twang. He twanged, I think.
Respect the twang. Yeah.
Anyways, if you were a boy who was wondering about this,
Jesus.
well, there you go.
And that's the stream, 20 minutes in, and we're done.
That's Anthony's Christmas present to all of you.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Has anybody else played this? Like, Mike, have you played this? Eric, have you played this at all?
I feel like I got maybe the old version of this, or I don't know which one of the games it was on one of the Genesis compilations, either the Xbox 360 one or the one
I think the Steam one has this, but the new one, the new version of that Steam one that's on newer systems does not have this, I think. Let me double check that actually, because I can pull up my Steam menu.
Oh, you know what? I think I thought I was getting this game, but I got the other one, which is like the weird arcade game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's Wonder Boy and Monster World, I believe.
Yeah.
The titling scheme of these games is ridiculous.
It's super confusing.
Yeah, it's not super
There's
helpful.
There's Monster Boy and Monster World and Wonder Boy. Is there a Wonder World?
There's no Wonder World yet.
Yet.
Is there a wonderful wall?
There is, but it's terrible.
It is, but it's you.
You are the Wonder World?
You are my Wonderwall, Mike.
Oh, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Wonder Boy in Monster World is Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair. Right, so this is not on the Genesis collection because it wasn't a Genesis game. That makes sense. So there's two Wonder Boy 3s. There's Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair, which is the Genesis one, and there's Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap, which is this one. So I think that was a different one.
They're totally different?
They're totally different.
Isn't there also an arcade game? I'm really confused.
Wonder Boy in Monster World. Now you're gonna make me look it up.
Sorry, Dad. I know how much you hate researching retro games.
Well, usually there's more to it than just telling you the answer to a question.
Joe, can you...
Other than Joe should do it, so that way you can keep playing.
Joe, no, can you just nudge your guy slightly backwards from where he is so that that thing in the foreground is covering him, so it kind of looks like he's, you know, having a good time with his shield?
Wow. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if that's possible because I don't know that any way that I do that is going to communicate exactly that in the way that you want it to.
Well, we've got to try.
Uh-huh. Let's see here. Wonder Boy in Monsterland. Okay, there we go. Wonder Boy in Monsterland was a
little more
Master System game. That was the second game, and that one was also an arcade version. There was an arcade and Master System version of Wonder Boy in Monsterland. That's the one where the dragon is the final boss of that game. Then Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair was an arcade game that then got released on the PC Engine CD / TurboGrafx CD. But not the Genesis, right? So sorry, Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair is the arcade version of Wonder Boy 3, which is a totally different game from Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap, which is the Master System version that this game is based on. But there was also, again, a TurboGrafx PC Engine version that was just called The Dragon's Trap. Or The Dragon's Curse, sorry. There's also a Game Gear version, which is identical to the Master System version, like you do. And then the Brazilian version of this game uses the Monica's Gang characters, but is basically the same game. And then Wonder Boy in Monster World is the Genesis-only version that came and then was released, then was remade for the Turbo Duo / PC Engine CD as the Dynastic Hero, but there is not an arcade version of that. And if you can remember all of that,
extremely confusing, and please do not pretend otherwise.
That's right. That's what I was trying to say, and then you asked me to explain it to you anyways.
The important thing is, I'm gonna start calling Joe the Dynasty Hero.
Thank you for that.
If you're Dynasty.
That's right.
Oh, Joe
It's
is.
Mr. Drilling if you're Dynasty. Anyways, so there you go. That's
No
the
one can
convoluted
stop Mr. Drilling.
history of the Wonder Boy, Dragon's Curse, Monster World, and then they just got simple with Monster World 4, which was just Monster World 4, and that was the one that stars not a boy at all, a girl, and didn't get a U.S. release until like 2011 or something. And now there's a new one called Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom or something, which is technically supposed to be a sequel to Monster World 4, but they changed the name again because of reasons.
Which one of these guys is in Smash Bros?
All of them. No, I don't know. Are any of them?
Isn't there an assist trophy that's
there
like a
probably
Wonder
is.
Boy or Monster? Let's see here. Smash Bros.
There's so many things.
Monster World Assist. Come on, Google.
There's so much going
There's
on.
There's a Monster Hunter assist trophy. Wow.
Okay, well that makes sense.
I had no idea.
I still think it's hilarious that pause, if you have pause's spirit or whatever, you start with a bomb. That's
Yeah, me too.
That's fantastic.
That's dark, man.
It is dark. It's good though. Same with Ness's dad being a phone.
Yes. I mean, Mrs. Dad is a phone.
That's not dark. That's just funny.
Well, it's dark if you imply that his dad's never there. It gives you invisibility.
I just accidentally went into a door and I can't just walk back out. I have to like go through. So again, this is the game showing its age. I can't just turn around and go back out. I have to...
So the one that I did try was the fourth one that was put out on like Xbox and PS3. Right? Monster World 4.
Yes.
And I played that for like 10 minutes and I got stuck and couldn't figure out how to leave the starting village and I kind of never went back to it.
All right. I would implore you to go back to it and give it another chance. That's just me.
I guess I should someday.
Yeah, I don't know. Anthony, do you have anything else? So you didn't finish it, obviously, Anthony.
No, I'm roughly where you are, except I haven't done the bird guys area. Like I can be Birdman, or whatever.
Would you say that
His
you're
name is.
Would you say that you're done with it at this point?
Yeah, just because Smash came out. Like if I didn't have anything else to play, but I have something that's drawn my attention
to play
now.
forever.
Yeah.
Used to be unlocking characters in that game.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
honestly can't believe that's the thing that they left in. I was talking to my friend at work today, and he was telling me that you only start with like 7 characters or something ridiculous like that.
From the Nintendo 64 game.
Ken, Ryu, Guile, Chun-Li.
Scorpion, Sub-Zero.
And Cinder.
Yep,
Yes.
that's it. That's the original 8.
And then you have to unlock everybody else, and like you can.
Yep.
There are multiple ways to do it, right? You can do it through the.
Also, every 10 minutes of play, a guy will challenge you.
Oh, is that it?
Or or you can play the single player, or you can play through the classic mode, which is like every fighting game, like you go through that character's like story and just have like, I think it's like 6 or 7 like very quick matches. Or you can use the exploit because they built in like every time you start up the game, they want you to unlock something new. So you quit to the main, you quit to the main menu, go back and play like a 1-minute match, and then a new guy will challenge you, and then you can quit.
Mario Maker
So
did
if you
that,
want to
right?
just, yeah, it had the same thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mario Maker, you could set the clock forward on your
Right,
Wii
right.
and unlock stuff more quickly, but
Oh, not quite the same.
not good.
For this one, they were like, yeah, we want you to have a new challenger every time you boot up the game.
Every
So
10
it's-
minutes is a
just
pretty
keep-
good clip.
It is a pretty good
Yeah.
clip.
I can see that keeping you coming back, you know.
I mean, that's basically like every couple of matches if you're just playing with friends.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we were playing it the other night, and I just said that when you boot the game up for the first time, there should just be a prompt that comes up that says, "Hey, do you like it?"
Right.
And if you click yes, then you can go through the whole unlocking thing, and if you click no, then you just get all the stuff. Because that's how I would want to play, is just to have all the stuff. I don't
Right.
care about.
And I
Like,
understand.
some people like doing that, and that's fine. Like that's good for
See,
them.
I
don't, and I never will.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I want to play.
Yeah.
Like I like these games, so I just want to get right to it, and maybe try the new guys. And the new guys are fairly early in the unlocking order, so you can try all the new ones. But I think, like, I think the thinking is, you start with, like, if you've been playing this game throughout its history, then like you start with one of the like core guys you've been using, or anybody else has the fundamental. Like, if you're new to this game, you learn at least one of the characters that.
They're all characters that aren't that hard to get into.
That have been there, right? And then, but I think from there, like, because you keep unlocking and you keep, like, it's like almost the right pace, so that every time you unlock someone, you try them for a match or two, and then suddenly you have a new guy to try. So I think, like, from the basis of we want someone to learn how to play this game, that's a good way to sort of be familiar with every character you're going to come across. So I get it,
yeah.
but that's not really like, but that's not what I want, because
I
I've
would
played
agree
this
with
series.
you if it wasn't for the multiplayer thing, you know, like, it's like, oh, hey, let's all go over to Joe's house. He's got the game up, but he's only played it for 2 hours, so he's got,
Right.
like, you know, 12 characters unlocked out of 70 or whatever it is.
Right, and they should, and I mean, what they basically did was, like, the single player mode, you start as Kirby. Like, that's the only guy you are. And,
I mean, in like 15 minutes, you've unlocked your first next character. Which is usually
but yeah, it doesn't take very long to start unlocking people in that mode, but it's totally separate. So they should have just unlocked everybody for multiplayer, and then in the single player mode, you can just start with like Kirby and work your way through everybody. Because then you kind of do both. Because they do keep a separate track list, so it's like I can choose between like, you know, 8 guys in the single player right now, and I have like 40 guys unlocked in the multiplayer or whatever. They should have done that, but
They didn't?
they didn't. What's more bullshit is that you have to unlock some of the music tracks too.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not okay with that,
Yeah, that seems really...
because it's way less clear how to do that, and I just want every level to have as many music tracks as possible.
Aren't there like 1,000 music tracks in that game?
Yeah. What's your point?
That seems like an almost irresponsible number.
It's good. I mean, they said this when they announced Richter or Simon Belmont. They were like, yeah, we couldn't pick a Castlevania track, so we picked 34 or whatever it was. So the one Castlevania stage has 34 options.
Which is good, because that series has like the best music in video games.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's almost as good as this Village music.
I forgot how to save, Anthony. How do I save?
That is a good question. It's not in one of the menus?
I mean, I have options. I've got settings and retro settings.
Uh...
Because I feel like you have to be in the main... I mean, I guess I have an instruction manual.
I think it auto saves. Because I hope so. Because when I played it yesterday, I just stopped.
Let's take a look. Well, there's nothing in the manual about how to save, so maybe it does just
Well,
auto save.
the internet says that it just auto saves.
Okay.
But you will always start back in the town
But you always start
when you
back.
boot it up again.
Alright.
I guess there's also the password system from the old game.
Yeah, and you can still use that, I
And
believe.
I was going to say, you can still, not only can you still use it, but I guess there was a password that immediately unlocked everything. And you can still use that. So you can just immediately unlock everything and go to the last boss if you want to.
That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like that.
Kind of makes me wish that they do this kind of remake for River City Ransom. The real good-looking version of River City Ransom with nothing else changed.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Did anyone play that Boy and His Blob game from a couple years ago?
The Wii one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played
I
that.
did not.
The game's really good.
This kept making me think of that game because they both look very nice.
This game does not have a dedicated hug button, so
That's true.
it's not.
It's a real shame, too, because there are empty spots on the controller they're not using. So I guess our feeling is this is an okay game.
Yeah.
I don't. I really like this style of remake. I love the Monkey Island ones as well. Although in those ones you kind of want to use the old graphics, whereas in this one you'd probably rather have the new shit. Did we lose Joe?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like.
I've done anything in this game for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're just kind of sitting there.
No,
I would've-
listen to the music, you know.
This like if I got this game back when it came out, like it would have seemed super ahead of its time. I think, like as far as like the different characters, like that would have been super cool back in a game like that. And if I had played that back then this would be a super great remake. Like, I mean, I guess it is. It's just not. I don't have that history. But if you took an equivalent game from back then and gave it this kind of remake, I'd be super pumped.
Mm.
So it's a very nice remake for like 5 people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this one must have done pretty well because it got released on everything and it got a physical release, which it didn't initially. So, I mean, you know, I would have assumed the same about this, right? As I think this was a very niche thing, you know.
I don't think I would ever buy like a 3D game based on the graphics alone, but I would probably buy a game like this based on the graphics alone. Or close to it. It's just so nice to look at while you're playing it.
Yeah. That's definitely. I mean, it's. I think if it was bad, I would stop playing it, but I would still be into it. I think that I played it longer because it looks nice, even though I like the game at its core. Like, I probably spent more time with it, or was like less in a rush to just get through all the stuff.
Right.
You know.
And also, if the game was terrible, then I probably wouldn't have stuck with it as long as I did. So, it works both ways.
Right.
That's how they get you.
That's true.
That's how the Wonder Boy gets you.
Mm-hmm.
Not when you say Wonder Boy in a mirror 5 times.
I mean, he'll get you then too, but that's a different kind of getting got, you know. So, I was trying to remember where I'm actually supposed to go next, but
You could address it.
sure.
Apparently Joe was pretty quiet for most of the stream, so that's
I
useful information to have now.
tried to adjust that, but
Okay.
I don't know. There's only so much I can do.
Wonder Boy and Alex Kidd for Smash. I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
No.
It seems like
I mean,
Nintendo is just.
yeah, they're
It seems like Nintendo's going all over the place, so I'm just hoping that they get fucking buck wild with it and put things that I wouldn't think that I would want into the game. I don't even
They
know.
did. They put a piranha plant in there.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty exciting. Bill Riser
Also-
being for Smash, that'd be fun. Contra would be a very good addition.
yes, absolutely.
I don't know how. I mean, you could. I guess you could do different things with the different gun power-ups. Would actually make for a pretty interesting ranged character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mia Coon says, when I first played this on the Master System, it felt like it took a week or two to finish, but when I played the remake, it took a couple days. I'm not sure why. With graphics make it easier. I mean, also you played it before. Also, you're older. One thing that
we kind of got smarter.
100% true is that most people get a little bit better at video games as they get older, especially when it comes to like spatial reasoning and.
Here's another really great example, by the way. Speaking of the looks, like, look at this area. Look at what it looks like in the old version compared to the new. Like, it's like, it's transformative. It's not even, like, they went off of the book from where, like, this is what the original aesthetic was, and just were like, nope, we're doing something else entirely.
And they also say, I wish Zelda 2 had a remake like this. Yes.
Oh yeah, that would be so good. You need to do a little more to Zelda 2.
I might actually play Zelda 2 then.
I might play Zelda 2 for more than 5 minutes. You know what would be great is if they made it so that Death Mountain didn't happen like on the second dungeon and slowed the pace and added a bunch of frustration.
Nintendo probably isn't going to put that work in, and they probably also aren't willing to pay someone else to do it, or even let someone else do it. So I don't see that happening. But that would be hella dope.
What do you mean? What do you mean they wouldn't put the work in?
I mean, we need another Zelda 2 remake.
Nintendo can just sell Zelda 2 for like $8 and people will fucking buy it.
Well, I mean, I guess that's true.
Why would they bother?
I'm thinking the Majora's Mask remake.
That wasn't as much of an overhaul as what Zelda 2
It wasn't.
Though.
No,
I
guess
all
not.
The graphics and stuff for that. I mean,
I guess
they made
fair.
some quality of life changes, but this is not this sort of a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see quite this level.
All right, so what's the better pig store shop corner? This guy or the one from Cuphead?
I mean, the one from Cuphead is very obviously inspired by this guy, so.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I haven't played Cuphead yet.
It's literally a pig with an eye patch who smokes.
Literally not.
I'm gonna type it in. Cuphead store pig.
His name's Pork Ryan. He has a mustache. Also, you have played.
Oh man, look at him. Okay, I played. Yeah.
I'm gonna say you played Cuphead.
I was a little tired then.
Fucking play Cuphead.
You should play. Yeah, you should play more Cuphead though. Like, you should play. You know, actually, if I'd realized that, I would have given you Cuphead. Shit. I thought you played it.
But we just talked. But we talked about not buying a thing that the other person is going to buy, and I'm going to buy that.
I mean, why haven't you yet? Is the question.
That's a pretty good pig. Because I've been playing other stuff. I'm a busy man, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you did just move across the country.
Not just.
That's also true.
Not just. Get the hell out of here with that noise. Just. Just like 3 months ago, he moved.
You should be 100% ready to rock and roll.
Jesus, it has been 3 months.
That should not be preventing you from playing a video game. Like, that's not.
But I've got other video games I was playing too.
Yeah, but you haven't played Cuphead yet, so what the hell?
The thing about 2018 and 2016 and 17 and really the last 10 or so years is that there's just even if all you did was sit around and play video games all day, there'd still be good games that you hadn't played.
Yeah, but Eric, we're talking about Cuphead, not just like any fucking game.
Joe, I finished Prey a couple weeks ago, and I think I started that in December of last year, maybe.
That's a lot longer of a game though than Cuphead.
I don't know. Cuphead's gonna take me 15 hours. So.
I like Cuphead, but it wasn't like life altering.
Cuphead's very good.
Cuphead's super good.
It's very good. I think if I hadn't played it at your house before, I probably would have cracked already.
I believe it was the third best game from last year.
Scientifically speaking, something like that, yeah.
Yes, but I would have rated it higher if I'd played more of it before we did that show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you didn't even play Hollow Knight, right?
I was gonna say, I would have rated it lower if I'd played more Hollow Knight before we did the show, so I think it balances out.
I liked Hollow Knight a lot, but even if I'd played Hollow Knight before that, I would have still rated Cuphead higher than Hollow Knight.
Oh man, no. I mean,
you haven't played you haven't played Cuphead, Anthony.
Yeah, but I played a little bit, enough to know.
I've beaten them both, and I liked Cuphead more. I like them both a lot. They're both, like, if anybody was like, should I play these video games? Like, I would be like, yes. Yeah. You absolutely should play both of those video games. But I think Cuphead was better for me.
I think the bird is so great because you can just skip most of the bullshit in the game after that.
Yeah, once you have the Hawkman, you can really bypass a lot of stuff. Although if you need money to buy items or stuff, like, it's not as effective of a strategy, right? Because you're not collecting any money.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's like a thoroughly mediocre Mario game last year.
You're an awfully demanding critic if you think Mario Odyssey was mediocre.
Yeah,
He's a demanding critic about Mario.
Really boring level design in that game.
Yeah, I don't like it very much either, honestly. Like, my son wants me to go back and play some more of it sometimes, and it's like, huh, I guess we can, sure.
Man, I love that game.
I loved it too. The desert was a bit much, but like that was the only stage that I really was like, yeah, this could be improved. The rest of them I was like, this is pretty great. I mean, it's not like I liked 3D World better. I liked both Galaxy games better, but I still really liked Odyssey.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to eventually playing 3D World when we finally port that to Switch. You know it's gonna happen.
It should happen. Isn't I thought New Super Mario Brothers U was getting ported to the Switch.
I don't care about that though.
Yay.
Man, last year was such a crazy year.
What about
looking at our document again, and it's just holy shit, man.
Yeah, it's pretty. All right, well, I got to bounce.
All right. Well, that's that is gonna
That's
I think bring the stream
you our baby boy.
And it looks like the Wonder Boy is also bouncing.
We're about to bring our stream for this week to a close, I guess, because Anthony was the gift receivee. So
yeah.
Next week,
do we know,
I'll be gone.
Do you know what we're doing next week?
I won't be around next week, but I think some folks will be, and so one of our next other gifts, or we'll be doing something else, and we'll open the rest of our gifts on Christmas and play with them throughout January, like you do with your Christmas gifts. I don't know.
I'm currently playing the game that Mike gifted to somebody else, but I'll leave that tantalizing.
Just because?
Those playing at home, yeah, because I really wanted to for a long time.
Okay.
Consider me tantalized, except that I know the answer.
Yes, well.
It's more XCOM. XCOM 7. XCOM's Revenge.
It's actually it's not. It's Wonder XCOM. They split the series into two directions for no fucking reason. And
they took totally different paths down the...
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Sure, why not?
Yeah. All right. Good night, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.
And good night to everybody who's watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. This was a little bit shorter of a stream than normal, but hey, you know, it's the holiday time, so
that's okay, man.
It's okay, yeah. And plus, I did a super long stream on Monday, so like, if you needed more of us doing silly shit, like, we were around for like 3 hours on Monday, so go watch that. And yeah, we'll some of us will see you next week, I guess, probably. Good night, everybody.
Bye.